Hi and welcome to the news headlines at this hour. Rep. John R. Louis, the civil rights icon whose fight for racial justice began in the Jim Crow South and ended in the halls of Congress, died on Friday night. The Georgia lawmaker had been suffering from stage 4 pancreatic cancer since December. He was 80. The son of Alabama sharecroppers, Louis served in Congress for more than 3 decades, pushing the causes he championed as an original freedom rider, challenging segregation, discrimination and injustice in Deep South issues reverberating today in the Black Lives Matter movement. Along with Martin Luther King Jr., he was an organizer of the March on Washington in 1963, a seminal movement in the civil rights movement that led to the passage of voting rights for blacks for 2 years later. He became a community activist and member of the Atlanta City Council before winning a seat in Congress in 1986. He would go on to become the best-selling author and in 2011 was awarded the nation's highest civilian award, the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama, the nation's first black president. Louis was elected to this 17th term in November 2018. Taiwan on Friday said its top reps to Hong Kong has returned home due to unnecessary political obstacles. With local media reporting, he refused to sign a pro-Beijing statement. China has been angered by Taiwan's support for the city's pro-democracy protest and the government's decision to open an office to help Hong Kongers who want to relocate to the island. Beijing's new security law imposed on Hong Kong late last month has further strained ties, ordering Taiwanese political organization to declare staff and assets. Cao Ming-soo, acting director of Taipei Economic and Cultural Office, was forced to return to Taiwan because the Hong Kong side violated the consensus and set up unnecessary political obstacles, said Chu Tu-chung, spokesman of the Mainland Affairs Council, Taiwan's top China policy body. The government of India has agreed to allow US air carriers to resume passenger services in the US-India market starting July 23rd, the US Transportation Department said on Friday. The Indian government, citing the coronavirus, had banned all scheduled services, prompting the US Transportation Department in June to accuse India of engaging in unfair and discriminatory practices on charter air carriers serving India. The Transportation Department said it was withdrawing an order it had issued requiring Indian air carriers to apply for authorization prior to conducting charter flights and said it had approved an Air India application for passenger charter flights between the United States and India. Over the last few days, floods have overwhelmed parts of central and eastern China. Several dams across the country's largest freshwater lake, Poyang, have burst, with the lake reaching record water levels, according to data from China's National Weather Satellite Center. Earlier this week, the authorities said 33 rivers had reached records high, while downpours are continuing to batter regions along the Yangtze River. On Wednesday, the Ministry of Water Resources said the water level of mainstream in the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River, Dongting Lake and Poyang Lake were gradually falling. However, the water levels of 98 rivers nationwide is still at an alarming level, according to the ministry, which maintains a Level 3 emergency flood response. The United States shattered its daily record of coronavirus infections on Thursday, reporting more than 77,000 new cases as the number of deaths in a 24-hour period rose by nearly 1,000, according to a Reuters tally. The loss of 969 lives was the biggest increase since June 10, with Florida, South Carolina and Texas all reporting their biggest one-day spikes on Thursday. More than 138,000 Americans have died from COVID-19, a toll that experts warn will likely surge following recent record spikes in cases numbers and an alarming rise in hospitalizations in many states. The hardest hit areas in Texas and Arizona are running out of places to store bodies as their morgues fill up and they're bringing in coolers and refrigerated trailers. U.S. death peaked in April when the country lost an average of 2,000 people a day. Fatalities have steadily fallen, averaging 1,300 a day in May and under 800 a day in June before rising again in July, according to a Reuters tally. Americans have become increasingly divided on issues such as reopening of schools and businesses and wearing face masks in public, hindering the fight against the virus. French authorities are opening an investigation into accusation of complicity in acts of torture against the powerful Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, sources said on Friday. Multiple sources with knowledge of the case told AFP that a French investigation magistrate has been mandated to take on a probe which will notably look at acts allegedly committed in the war in Yemen. An initial investigation has been opened in October 2019 against the prince, who is known as MBZ, after 2 complaints were filed when he came to Paris on an official visit in November 2018. MBZ, a close ally of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, is seen as one of the most influential leaders in the region and has also built a tight alliance with French President Emmanuel Macron. This is Jyoti reporting for Our Voice. Preview.